Hello, this is Abina at Cross Keys Crafts. Today I'm creating a bay window card. This came about because on the Facebook Craft Stash group, Craft Stash Chat it's called, I saw a lady's card and she had created this bay window card with her local pub. The lady's name, by the way, is Rachel Dye. And I took a screenshot of that and actually sent out a comment as well saying I'm going to have to steal that for my fiance's birthday, which is next week. Because if you know me and have read my description, I own a pub and I thought this would be perfect to create with our pub. And I have got slightly different measurements, but you can vary these measurements. I will hand deliver this card obviously, so I don't need to create a special envelope or anything for that. But if you do, there are other bay window cards about. Sam Calcott has done one, I think, or two even, in different sizes, a 6x6 and a 5x7. So I'm going to create my card from an A4 piece of card. I basically cut this down into two pieces and then I cut them down so they measure 5 3/4 each, but it doesn't really matter the height for this card, so you could just cut it into half. I sometimes find it easier just to measure. So you need two of these panels. Yeah, as I said, they could be 5x7, they could be 6x6. And then I scored mine. Oh, sorry, I left the A4 card the width as it was, which is 8 1/4. So, and then I scored this at a half. You can see the measurements here just at the top. 3, 5 1/2, and 8, which leaves us with this 1/4 inch flap here on the side. Whichever size you have, what you really want to do is, or what I suggest you do, is have 3 equal panels in the middle. Having said that, the card that Sam Calcott recently did, that actually had a slimmer panel in the middle, so it doesn't really matter. Just you want 3 panels in the middle. You want a flap to glue this down on one side, and you need another flap to tuck this under. And you fold them like this. They're all, sorry, there's a valley fold on this side, a valley fold on this one side, and the other two are mountain folds. So you end up with this shape. And yeah, so I will have the slimmer flap on this side, just glue this down here, and then the wider flap, the 1/2 inch, allows me then to tuck this under here and create the bay window. So as I'm going to have the outside of our pub as my theme, I have planned to put the 3 windows in. We actually have 3 windows in the front and then the door next to it. So the door will be my stopper, but obviously you can vary this theme. I even saw one the other day, a lady created like a conservatory with flowers inside. That would look lovely as well. So I've already pre-cut a few things. First of all, I've cut foliage for some flower baskets that I will put at the front. I had started cutting very tiny flowers and then I thought, no, I don't have the time to do paper piecing, so I might use these bigger flower dies, especially this one, or I've got some sequins, but for the moment I'm just going to push this aside. So I have, let me just find my pieces. So what I meant to say was, I have already cut our door. Our front door's got a window panel in here and it's got a cat flap, and I thought this would be nice if I had the cat flap there. I'm going to put a little cat die in front of it, die cut in front of it. So what I've done for that is I've just used one of my rectangle dies, but you can obviously also just cut this by hand. You could cut the window by hand if you wanted to, as long as you're neat. I find if I leave these bare as it is, it's nice to have the die. If you put a frame on it, I will show you that with the windows in a moment, it doesn't matter because it will be covered by the frame. So as I said, I cut this piece, and then at the same time I actually cut the cat flap here with just this little square, and then I took the little square and the bigger one and cut a frame for the cat flap, which will go over here. But I want to put vellum at the back. and because I thought it would be nice. As I'm not opening the door, it doesn't matter what the vellum looks like at the back, so I will literally just glue it onto the back. And I've cut some scrap pieces just somewhere here on the table, just show you with this at the moment. So you would basically cut a piece to size. It doesn't have to be cut with a die, just use your scissors and a little piece there, and I will just glue this on, but I'll do that off camera. And this frame here will go on the cat flap in the front. So that's my idea for that. For the card base, by the way, and for this bit, I used some quite heavyweight cardstock. This is a 270 GSM. You can use thinner cardstock. I wanted this hammered cardstock. I wanted this as a texture because of the way our house is rendered, and I thought this would mimic this the best, and it's the best color I could find because it's a bit of an off-white. But I didn't want to send this through the die cutting machine, because what happens in the die cutting machine is it flattens this hammered look. So I decided to cut the windows just with my crafting knife. And for that, I have cut myself a little template. I'm just showing you in a second. I'm just finding the other die. Today things disappear from my craft table. Oh, here it is. So this is the smaller die, and this will create a window frame. So before I align this on here, I just cut myself a little template, and I can use this to draw the frames where I want them. I find this also easier to do this by hand than to send it through the die cutting machine and always align it in the same place. So I'll show you that in a moment. And then I'm going to create a window frame, or rather it's the outer of our window frames, which are black. By aligning these two, I'm going to stick them together. Oh, sorry, I'm a bit off camera there. I'm going to stick them together with my removable tape. Any tape is fine, low-tech tape, so that I can send this through the die cutting machine with my black cardstock to create the window frames. And again, I would like to have some vellum behind that, but for that I cut some intermediate pieces, as in bigger than this die cut but smaller than the outer frame, because that will hide really nicely between the frame. So now I just want to show you how I draw these on here. So I want to leave some space here at the bottom for the flower trough, and obviously we've got a bit of a gap at the bottom, but this is, as I said, just to mimic the outer of our pub. So I'm basically just drawing this here with a feigned pen, and then I can do the next one accordingly, spacing it evenly, and then I can just cut it out with my craft knife. So I shall do this now. I shall prepare the door as well, and then I'll show you how I assemble the pieces here and those. I have cut my windows out of the panel. I had to redo that actually, because I had already started and forgotten. I wanted to put the name of our pub on the top, so I had to put these a little bit lower. Also, don't forget, when you put your windows on, because you've got the frames, you need a bit of space on the top anyway. So I've got the black window frames here, and I've put the vellum on the back. I just used my collal glue for that. Make sure before you glue it down that your vellum is slightly smaller and disappears nicely behind this frame. But when I set this down, I didn't like the look of it, because the window frames aren't actually black. It's the recess and the frame around the window. So I decided to cut another frame with this size here and one size down, so I can sit this in here. And because we have got, I think they're called sash windows, I've also cut from the piece that was left in here, I've cut some strips that will obviously fit very nicely on the inside, and I can just glue these down on the vellum. And I'll also quickly show you the door. So I've assembled this now. I'll put the frame for the cat flap on the outside, and I just glued these scrap vellum pieces here on the back. As I said, this will mostly disappear. All I need is to put a bit of foam on the back because this will work as a stopper. The other thing I have done is with the scrap from inside the black frame, I have cut 3 window boxes. Don't know how well the camera picks this up. I have cut 3 strips. I used my corner rounder at the bottom, and I've put these through an embossing folder. And I just thought I'd show you my embossing folder. This is a Sam Calcutta one, a made to surprise one. But when I bought it, I didn't read the description properly, and it's actually an 8 by 8 inches. Well, I've only got a 6-inch die cutting machine, so when it came I thought, oh, what am I going to do with it? But I then had the idea, I actually cut this down, but it's very thick plastic, so it's really difficult to do. So I didn't use a craft knife. I used it's like a wood burning tool that gets really hot, and I just basically cut this down there, and the top is actually quite nice. The bottom is a bit messed up here, but it doesn't matter for the function of it, and it works nicely for me. And I filed it down a little bit afterwards, but this works with me. I just kept one of the hinges, and that's fine really. By the way, I always missed my cardstock with deep embossing folders like this, so but I quite like the look of it. It looks a bit like a basket. It's the closest one I had to this sort of style, but obviously any style would work. I just didn't want these to be as plain as the frames. I thought with a bit of texture that would work quite nicely. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to assemble all the windows, and I'm going to glue these on the top here. By the way, also before you glue this down, make sure that your card disappears very nicely behind it. Having said that, now that we've got this on top, any sort of excess will be hidden anyway. So I'm going to glue this all in place now, and I think also off camera I will fill these flower boxes just with some greenery. I'll be cutting these apart, just have mostly leaves, and as I said, then I decide then whether I will use these sequins for flowers or whether I will die cut some out of cardstock. I think the sequins might actually be quite nice because they've got a bit of shine to them. But if I do that, if I use a shiny bit, I will have something else shiny on the front. I think I need to pick that up, otherwise they will stand out too much. As I said, I'll do this all off camera because I want to keep this video short, and then I'll show you what I do on the inside. So, with a few interruptions, I have finally stuck all my windows and my window boxes down. This was quite fiddly, but I enjoy the look of this. I use different coloured green cardstock. As I said, I will add some flowers afterwards. And I have put the window boxes on some black foam tape. I think this gives them a bit of dimension. I did make sure though that on this flap here that we will tuck under, and on this side the green is not too close to the score line here. This one actually I glued down just to make sure it doesn't move, because these are the only ones that sort of move upwards a little bit. If these are a bit wider, that doesn't matter. Just looking at this, some of these are a bit delicate, so I might glue some of these down, but I actually do like the look of this three-dimensional look here. So on the back it looks like this. If you're fussy about this, you could cover the frames here, but as the card is displayed like this, and yes, you do open it, but you don't display it open, I'm going to leave it as it is because I'm a bit pressed for time. So for the door, I just wanted to show you, on the back I have put foam strips. I'm going to link to them below. These are from Amazon. They're really handy to just put thin foam strips somewhere rather than cutting your own. And these were just some scraps I put around the cat flap here. And because I don't want to mix and match different foam pads that have got different thicknesses, I just cut a few strips here for the middle piece. And I didn't put any foam strip here on the side because this is a bit where we'll tug this, the flap under. I don't need the whole width of this here, but a little bit. I actually see just I need to cut down the little foam strip as well. And this will go onto the card base here to the right hand side. So that will sit here. I'm not gluing this down just yet because I want to decorate the inside, but when it's displayed it just gets stuck under here and then it will stay like this. So I have got a few other jobs now to do in the house, but I will decorate the inside. I'll show you quickly what I have prepared for that, because I think again I will just do this off camera when I get the time, and then I come back and show you what I have done, just to keep this video short as well. I have printed off a photo of our bar. The lady on Facebook, Rachel Dye, she had cut her own shelves. She made a bar front, which I will do, just to cover the bottom of this here. She had made some bar stools, which I think I will copy because they look really cool. But I don't have any small bottle dies or anything like that. I didn't want to fussy cut anything, so I'm doing the shortcut here by just using this as a picture. So this will go here at the top, and as I said, I will create a front bar with some bar stools, and then I just need to add the name of our pub. And again, for that I've got an idea. I've shown you that before. I've got the We Are Memory Keepers letter press, I think it's called. So I'm going to create the name with that and just glue this on. So I think I will, when I come back, I will have finished the card and quickly talk you through what I have done. So I have nearly finished my card. Let me just talk you through what I have done off camera. I have die cut the little flower here from 2 different kinds of red cardstock. And because I lost some of the middles here, this is, by the way, it's the bigger one, and they've die cut a little round bit in the middle, but I lost 2 of these, so I just thought I'd just put a little rhinestone in the middle. Then I have cut the name of our pub. I just show you the gadget. I just go and get it that I have cut it with to explain what this is all about. Yeah, I might have shown that before in a video. This is the We Are Memory Keepers word punch board, and it's this little board here, and then you can buy sets of the alphabet. I've got the uppercase and the lowercase ones because I really enjoy using these. And you basically align these little, they're all individual dies, like, sorry, individual punches, and you can align them either like this, and then you've got the letters further apart, or you can punch it like this, take these out, and then stamp the words, the letters in between. I might link to a video below on how to use this. This is not cheap. This was about £30 to buy, and when you buy the other set you need to buy the punch board as well, which is a bit of a waste of money. But I really thoroughly enjoy using this, so I'm not enticing you to buy this. I just wanted to explain where the words came from. After I had punched the words, I put some gold glitter paper behind it. I deliberately used some paper, it's this really thin one, because I didn't want to have too bulk to this in the background. So I've just cut a strip, put this behind here, and then I've glued this onto a wider piece of black cardstock. This piece here, the black one, was determined by the width of this panel, so you don't really want them bigger than that. So I just wanted to show you this before I stick this one on. Yeah, and I think that's all I did to this panel. For this panel here, for the inside, I have, as I said before, I've stuck down this photo of our bar. I have then created a panel here in the front. I don't know how well the camera picks that up. We have got paneling on the front bar, you know, this tongue and groove thing. So I just used this strip of brown cardstock and I just scored it in my scoreboard, and that's all this is. And then I've cut 3 strips of this craft cardstock just as an edge for the bar top. And I think this looks quite nice. I deliberately went a bit wider than the actual photos there. And then I created little bar stools, and they are very simple to make. I just cut these little rectangles just with my trimmer. I made a strip and then just cut them to size. I wanted some texture because I thought they were looking too flat, so I used an embossing folder. Let me just find this to show you. There it is. So just to give it some texture, anything would work obviously if you got a more regular pattern. And then I just cut some more strips of craft cardstock, just glued these on a little bit at an angle, and then a little bar across here. And now I can glue this down, and then I just cut all these off at the bottom. I thought it was easier to glue these down first and then to cut them off. And then the last little thing is my little cat here. I've cut him twice from black cardstock because he's sitting on different levels here. I thought it was best to have him as sturdy as possible. I glued him together with a collal glue, which gives extra strength, and then I can sit him here. Normally he actually sits on the inside looking outside, but I think for the card, this card here, I'll have him sit somewhere here by the cat flap. Yeah. When I stuck this down, or if you stick something down, remember to keep this space here to put the flap on. So I'm just gluing these things down here, and I forgot about this one here. This one again I put up on a foam pad just up to here, so I can tuck the front card under here as well. I thought that would help. So as I said, I stick everything down now, and then I'll show you the finished card. Here's my finished card. I stuck the flap here down with my Cosmic Shimmer quick grab glue, and just waiting for this to dry. So when my fiance receives this, I will tell him that he can obviously open it like this. I nearly forgot to put a sentiment in there, so I die cut this happy birthday from glitter cardstock, and I glued this down with this quickie glue pen, which is really useful for intricate die cuts. It works because the back here is just paper. It's not a glitter on the back, so that works really nicely. Yeah, and I've got my bar stools here and my lovely bar with the pums and everything, and that saved me a lot of hassle die cutting anything in the background. Got my little cat here on the side, and then I will tell my fiance he can basically set it up by tucking it in here. Obviously you can shape it a little bit, and then we've got this lovely bay window. I hope you can see what this is like. I think this is really, really nice. We don't have a bay window, by the way, in our pub, but I think it still looks very cool, and I'm really pleased with this. So yeah, I'm sure my fiance will like this as well. And if you do, you might want to give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of what I'm creating, you might want to subscribe to my channel. I'd be very happy about that. And I'll see you soon with another video. Oh, by the way, if you have got any questions about the steps that I didn't show and only explained, let me know in the comments. I'm very happy to give some extra information, or maybe if I have to explain something again, maybe even make another video. I don't mind doing that, but I wanted to keep this video as short as possible. Okay, see you soon.